the detective said missing kids usually come home. What happens when they don't?
Based on a true story.
Police looking for John Gacy.
We discovered bodies. By the looks of it, they're younger men.
The things he did to those kids. He's sick.
The system failed these families.
Devil in Disguise, John Wayne Gacy. Streaming now, only on Peacock.
Do you know how many there are?
Up to you to find out.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right. And naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about anything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys. Tito's is known for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's. Distilled and bottled by 5th Generation Inc., Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume. Savor responsibly.
Hey guys, this is a little bonus episode of Horror Movie Night. This is actually from way back in 2015 when I was still hosting the Saint Mort Show. This is like the second to last episode I ever did. I was at San Diego Comic-Con and I was given the opportunity to interview one of the stars of Funhouse Massacre. So this is that interview since we just covered the movie this week on the show. Enjoy, and we'll be back on Thursday with a regular episode of Horror Movie Night. All right, Saint Mort Show fans, I'm here with Ben Begley. He has created a movie called The Funhouse Massacre. If you're a listener of Horror Movie Night, my other podcast, you've heard me rave and rant about how good this movie truly is. It's definitely, in my opinion, the best thing that Scream Factory has put out as far as original content goes. I was very excited to know that he was signing at our booth here at San Diego Comic-Con. So Ben, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, and thanks for your glowing reviews, man. I appreciate it. It means a lot to have actual fans of the genre and of the movies that really dig it. Sorry, we got distracted just there because someone tried to do a Pokemon stop while we were talking.
You know, you never know.
You never know.
There's chances that this interview will be constantly interrupted.
That's why
with sales of DVDs and posters.
That's why my thought just went, what's happening? Oh, you caught a Pikachu. Congrats.
But
no, I appreciate it. I appreciate all the kind words and everything you've done for this.
Well, I think with Funhouse Massacre, and I've talked to you enough to figure this out just in conversation, but it is kind of the thing that fans have been wanting, which is a horror movie that reminds us of the movies that we would have rented as kids.
Yeah.
And the thing that Funhouse Massacre does beautifully is that it definitely acknowledges, you know, when you were a kid and you were renting these movies that you probably shouldn't have been renting, depending on how young you were, you had certain expectations. And those expectations was, you know, some lewd sex scenes,
some lewd behavior,
some over-the-top gore, and some really dope-ass killers. And those were the only 3 things you cared about. There were movies that were legitimate masterpieces that I watched at 14, and if it didn't have those 3 things, I thought that they were the worst movie. And it wasn't until like I grew older to appreciate like a slow burn movie.
That's fantastic.
But like Funhouse Massacre is definitely one of those movies that's born out of the kids who grew up with that thought process of like, I just want the sex, the violence, and the rock and roll that come in a horror movie.
That was the goal, was just because we were racking our brains and we were like, when was the last really fun slasher film? Because there's been a lot of ghost movies, a lot of possessed children movies, a lot of found footage and zombie films, but when was the last really good slasher flick that came out, original slasher film?
That wasn't self-aware, like too self-aware. It's always, ever since Scream, it's always got to be too aware that it's a slasher film.
Yeah, and I would say that ours is more self-aware in the fact that it's self-aware that it's being born out of the 80s and 90s slasher films, but it's not, we try not to wink so much that it gets annoying, and we just wanted to have a movie that you could go with your friends at midnight and just have a blast and get drunk and take a shot every time someone dies. Don't do that, because you may actually get alcohol poisoning with the body. I think Rocco alone kills 32 people on and off screen.
It's crazy. It's got such a cool high body count. I do want to ask a question about the killers because there's six of them in the movie,
which I don't think has ever been done before. I think it's usually 1 or 2 at most.
Yeah, you've got the Sinister Six right here.
Yeah.
Or
the Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad. So it's clear that a few of them are based on other movie characters, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Are all 6? Would you say, like, when you were writing each character? For each one, was there a point where you're like, okay, this is going to be kind of my homage to this film, and this one's going to be an homage to this one?
It was a little bit like that. The goal was, we researched a lot of serial killers when we were thinking of this movie, and it got really creepy because most serial killers just do stuff that's not fun or entertaining in any way. It's just gross and disgusting and like sick shit that you don't want to see in a movie. So what we kind of based the killers on, we based them on a handful of real killers, Batman Arkham Asylum villains, and then with a dash of a nod to Slasher's past. Like, the Dollface character is very much a Harley Quinn-ish character. Animal the Cannibal's kind of like a Ed Gein.
Yeah.
But if you mixed Ed Gein and like a top chef from a big upscale New York restaurant. The taxidermist is a little Norman Batesy, obviously.
Yeah.
Rocco the Clown is, in my opinion, he's like a clown Leatherface meets Doink the Clown from WWE.
Which is awesome.
He's an ex-wrestler who rips off a dude's face and wears it, and it's a clown skin mask. And the dentist was just easy because no one likes going to the dentist, and obviously that's a nod to horror films too. But it's just we tried to play with fun things that could be in a haunted house, in a fun house, and that are still fun kills, but you're not like, oh shit, what am I watching?
Which is one of my favorite tropes in horror films, and they don't do it enough. Is the fun house? I love there's one that came out. I want to say maybe like 2006.
Scream Park?
No, I was going to say Dark Ride.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that one.
Dark Ride's a little fun too, and it's literally just the plot line to Funhouse.
Yeah.
But it's fun, but there's not enough that really do that.
Yeah, and the goal was...
And I think that's a tragedy.
What's going on, guys? Indeed. You guys horror fans? Oh,
they're writers. They're writers for the site and Pokemon fans.
Okay, that's what it is. I see. That's right. I just derailed our interview.
That's fine. It happens. It happens. We were talking all the good things that are in this movie.
Yes.
So, is there a reason why you decided to go with Rocco being a wrestler? Are you a wrestling fan on the side, or was it just you needed a good occupation for a guy to get away with killing a bunch of people?
I was a big wrestling fan growing up, and since a big part of this movie is influence from the 80s and 90s in my childhood, it just seemed kind of appropriate when the heyday of WWF before it became WWE was when I was growing up. Hulk Hogan, Sergeant Slaughter, all that stuff, and it just seemed fun. I hadn't really seen an African American killer other than Candyman really in a movie before, or B, this guy's massive.
He is massive. So big.
Mars Crane, shout out to Mars Crane. I think if this catches on enough, he could have his own spin-off franchise because he's so badass and scary.
And he literally, I mean, talk about perfect casting. He looks like a wrestler.
Yeah. He's incredible, and he's the nicest guy.
That makes sense.
So nice. He's such a nerd too. He's like into comics and stuff, so we would geek out. He's gonna kill me for saying this, but whatever. He's such a nice guy, and I remember when he first showed up on set, he wanted to not talk to any of us so that we remained scared of him.
Yeah.
And that lasted like 2 days, and then he was joking with us. But like the first few days, he would just sit in the corner with his Rocco mask, just looking at us, like breathing heavily.
And can we talk about how cool the Rocco mask looks?
That's all Robert Kurtzman's. Becky, House, and Barry, they did a killer job designing it.
The fact
Creature Corpse was the group that Robert Kurtzman's company did all that.
The fact that the mouth just kind of hangs loose.
So eerie, right?
Yeah.
Especially in the end, I don't want to spoil it, but in the end, that slow motion shot where it's like dangling, it's almost sad.
Yeah.
It gives it an expression.
It's just a really good movie. There's a lot of twists and turns that I didn't expect,
really?
Which is also nice.
That's awesome.
There's, Did you
expect the relationship that's revealed later on? I don't want to spoil it for
Not really. There was a lot of things that surprised me, but also just when you go into a horror movie, you usually have like, okay, well,
your bar is very low. I feel like sometimes.
Well,
It
your
has
bar
to
is
be.
low, but also like you kind of immediately in the first 5 minutes, you're like, okay, well, these are the people that are going to survive, and blah 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 blah. And this movie doesn't really
That was the goal.
care.
Yep.
Care who you like.
There's a specific character. I won't say who dies in case people haven't watched it, but there's a specific character I had to fight to kill.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll know who it is. But everybody, even on the day, was like, do we have to kill him? And I'm like, yes, because it's going to be that moment where the audience is like, I thought we were clear. I thought everything was fine. Fuck you. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear on this, but
No, you can curse all you want.
But yeah, that was the thing. The goal was like that you don't kill the black guy first, because that's super typical and racist. And you don't kill. We wanted to subvert the expectations so that you were kind of even though it's a comedy, you were kind of thrown off with who's going to die next.
Yeah, I've told you before that your comedic timing in this movie is fantastic.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, man.
One of the other people in this movie that I have to give a quick shout out to for just amazing delivery of the dialogue that you've written for him is I'm blanking on his name, but he's dressed as Machete.
Oh yeah, Eric Chavarria.
Oh, he is
so funny.
He is so every line of dialogue is so good from his character.
When we've done screenings, I get jealous because he gets such. I mean, I get laughs, but he gets huge laughs, and every time we sit next to each other, and I just look at him like, "You son of a bitch," and then I'm like, "Oh wait." My wife and I wrote those lines. Never mind, good job. But no, he's so funny, and he's the nicest guy ever. And just taking a character that was. There's these car scenes where he's just hanging out talking to his wife.
And they're some of the best scenes in the movie. It doesn't make any sense.
Most of those were completely improvised.
Yeah.
Like, I think that in the script it said he texts his girlfriend and then takes a swig of whiskey, and then he just improvised everything. And so I would like to take credit for, like, Machete does the cutting and some of his other lines, like, are you using me as a human shield, things like that. But that was the cool thing, is that the actors that we cast in it, that Andy, our director, cast in it, who he did a great job too, by the way, and Warner producing it, and my wife Renee co-writing it, playing Lori. I'm just doing. This is like the end of a rap song where I just shout out people for 30 minutes.
Shut up.
Yeah. But the cool thing about the cast was they were all so funny that they would take what was on the page and they were respectful to it, but then they also added their own flavor, and we weren't precious with it. We weren't like, you must say these words. And some of the best stuff came out of just them rolling with the scene and making it more natural for themselves, and so we had a good mix of improv and scripted, and it was a great group. Because sometimes you get a group of actors together and they're like, oh, we improv, and then they start improvising and you're like, that's terrible, what are you doing?
Yeah, please stop, just read the words on the page.
They were so funny. They were cracking me up. I would go on my day off and just sit and watch for hours and just laugh along with everybody.
So, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, people are going to want to know, especially young filmmakers, what was the process like to, this isn't just like you guys made a movie and you threw it out on Vimeo and are handing out posters. Like, this is released on Screen Factory, which is a pretty big deal. Like, how did you get to, you got Clint Howard in this, and you've got Robert Englund, and you've got a pretty nice advertisable backing to this whole movie. Was it just... was that all in the strength of the script, or was there like steps and years of work that took getting there?
It all happened really fast. I happened to post on Facebook about it saying I'm excited to have written the third draft of our new horror comedy, and the guy who ended up directing it, Andy Palmer, he called me and was like, hey, what's the pitch and what's the budget? And I told him, and I was like, it's maybe $1 million, I don't know. And it's a horror comedy. I gave him the pitch, and he was like, send it to me right now. And I was like, okay. And by Thanksgiving of 2014, it was optioned. It was sold in January. We were shooting in April, done April 19th, in theaters in AMC last year, and Friday the 13th in November, and then on DVD in June. So it was lightning fast.
Yeah.
And it just happened that the investor wanted something this genre and this type of horror film. And then Robert Englund came on board because Robert Kurtzman loved the script, and it was really cool to have people, because I've written a bunch of stuff, but I've just kind of kept it on a hard drive and never like shown anybody.
Yeah.
And so it was cool to have people saying like, no, we really dig this script, and we think it's fun, it's entertaining, because it's not like, I'm not trying to write the next greatest movie ever. We just wanted to write something fun that I would want to go see in a movie theater and laugh my ass off and cheer along to the gore. And so people responded really well to the script, and it just kind of took off from there. And and it was really crazy to be on set and have Robert Englund. We meet him and he's like, "Oh, I wanted to rehearse a line for you," and he like goes through his line and asks if he can invert a sentence, and we're like, "You can do whatever you want. You're Robert Englund." But it's so cool how like how professional and how they cared about the script and about doing it justice, even though it's a silly, ridiculous horror film. But everybody was so awesome. That was a very roundabout answer, but
no, but that's perfect.
It happened lightning speed, and yeah, it was just all the right pieces kind of came together.
All right, well, I know that you've got some panels that you want to hit up. It's crazy. We're at San Diego Comic-Con, so we'll wrap it up here. Hopefully I'll see you a little bit more throughout this week. But
thank you so much.
Thank you for doing this awesome movie, man. It really is a masterpiece.
Thank you for thinking it's awesome. I appreciate that.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.